Hey, welcome everybody to the Salty Yak Tailing Tips. Today we're going to do a little tutorial on how we plan for our fishing trips. So first thing I always do is check the weather. I like using Weather Underground. I go to the 10-day forecast. You can see this is for Freeport. I'm off Wednesday and Thursday, so just a quick glance. Wednesday looks like a better day than Thursday. From here, I can go down and check the wind, and it shows that it's nice and low in the morning, and then pick it up to maybe about 12 miles an hour out of noon. So Wednesday looks like the better day just looking at the forecast. So then my next thing I check is Wind Finder. And really, Wind Finder, what I use it for is the wave activity. So if I was going to go beyond the breakers, so let's see, one of my favorite spots to go beyond the breakers is here, right off Galveston. Click on this and check the forecast. And it gives you a little bar graph here. And it looks like Thursday, Friday is a low point. Let's run down here and take a look. So Thursday. So what I look for here is wave height. And this is feet. So in the settings sometimes when you click on it, it's meters. So make sure that you're looking at feet and not meters, because you'll get a big different reading between the feet and the meters. So it's showing less than 2 foot, 6 foot intervals, or 6-second intervals. So that's pretty good if we're going to go BTB. It's because I always look for less than 2 foot, and that's a nice interval. It means it won't be very choppy. Also, it shows you the tide. Low tide is at 2:49 in the morning. High tide's at 9:19. So we want to fish, I don't like going in the middle of the tide because there's generally a lot of current. But he's shown here 9 o'clock. So anything, that 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock in the morning, it'll be slowing up to high tide. That'd be a good time to go if you want to go offshore. Go do the BTB. What I do like is windy.com. Very graphic, very visual. It shows me where all the air currents are and where they're going. And so let's say here's Chocolate Bayou. So we want to go fish Chocolate Bayou on Wednesday. We look at Wednesday about 6 a.m. Winds are nice and low, kind of out of the southwest. So that looks doable. But what's it going to look like come noon? Picks up a little bit. You look at the little graph down here, almost 20. This is knots. So think about this. So a knot is equal to 1.15 miles per hour. So if it says it's almost 20 knots, it's over 20 miles per hour of wind. So Chocolate Bayou is pretty open. Probably not a place I want to go. Or if I'm going to go there on Wednesday, I want to get off the water before the wind picks up. So I want to make sure, probably, 8, try to be off the water by 10 if I'm going to go somewhere that's open like that. So it lets me kind of plan and schedule and look at where I want to go. So weather's okay for Wednesday. Wind, depending on where I want to go. But let's check the tides. So my number one spot for tides is tidesforfishing.com. And all of these links will be in the notes for the show. So we click on Wednesday, and this is go back here. I'll go back here to Texas. So these are all the different points where they have they measure the tide coming in. So you've got to kind of know where each one of these are. So if I want to go fish, again, Chocolate Bayou, San Luis Pass is the closest one there. And we click on Wednesday, go down and look. So what their wind forecast is, 8s, 7s. See, their wind forecast is a lot different from what we were just looking at. So you got to kind of take that in mind. So we got to scroll on down to the tide section. And here we are. So you got to remember where they're taking these tide measurements at is out there at St. Louis Pass. So Chocolate Bayou is a pretty good ways from St. Louis Pass. So the tide's going to be slower getting back to Chocolate Bayou. So they're saying at St. Louis Pass, like 8 o'clock in the morning, it's going to be a falling tide. So more than likely, you think about that back at Chocolate Bayou, it's probably still going to be, rising or high tide when you get there on Wednesday morning. And then so Wednesday morning, you'll pretty much be fishing a falling tide, which works for me. So the other one that I check for tides is the NOAA tides and currents. And same thing here. So here's St. Louis Pass. We can click on it. And it tells us when high tide is. It tells us when low tide is. But also what I really like this one for is to have a look at what the tide is doing before and after when I want to go. Let's say we're going to go in the next 14 days. So this, plot calendar, and it will show me what the predicted tide is all the way out to the 30th. So I can look here, and on these days where these double tides are, especially if there's going to be a southeast wind, then especially here this week here, the 19th and 20th, 21st, the low tide's not pushing a whole lot of water out, and if there's a southeast wind, it's even going to hold that water in more. So you can pretty much guarantee that 19th through the 23rd that the water's going to be pretty full, going to be backed up in the bay and backed up in the backwater, because there's not a whole lot going out on the outgoing tide. And if there's that's something else you have to look at. If there's a strong southeast wind, that's going to push that water back up in there, especially this time of year. But I love looking at this and giving me an idea of, because this will tell me, hey, where I want to go, if I want to go back in the back lakes and stuff, if there's going to be water back there or not. So that just gives you a quick little rundown on the ones that I use. The NOAA tides and currents, the tides for fishing, windy, and wind finder, and then of course my weather app, Weather Underground. I hope this tutorial helped y'all out. If you found it helpful, hit the subscribe button, and we will be talking to y'all later.